It's 5:45 in the morning, and there's Rocky, and there's me. There's Rocky's tail, you can see there. Boop, boop, boop. Oh my goodness. He's slapping me in the face with his tail, he is. He's saying, "Wake up, damn it." Here you go now, eh? You're quite a cat, I'll tell you. Okay, now, here we go. Let me get up a little bit here. Let me sit up. There we go. Oh, yeah. That's funny. That is pretty funny. Look at that tail go there. So I guess this is good morning. Got an itchy nose. Hello. He's interesting to watch. You never really know what he's going to do. Hello. Good morning. Good morning, Rocky. Can we see ya? Oh, there he is. He's purring. You. Quite the cat, I'll tell you. Anyway. Oh my goodness, Rocky. All right. Well, there you go. Yeah. Anyway, it's funny. I had a conversation with somebody a while ago. It's funny the things that go through your head early in the morning when you're just laying in bed and you can't sleep. But I had a conversation with somebody a while ago. And we were talking about the current state of the world, and she disagrees with me about a lot of things. She agrees with me about some things. She disagrees with me about a lot of things. But this is an older person, and of course she grew up in the 1950s. And she had mentioned about food shortages, because I was talking about that. And I was talking about how I noticed that shelves in grocery stores started to be less fully stocked back around 2010, and then it gradually got to where it's at now, where we really do have shortages of certain things. And back then I said something's coming, and they're getting us ready for food rationing. They're getting us into the right frame of mind to accept shortages and rationing and things like that. Something big is coming. I didn't know what it was. I suspected it was a war, which it looks like is coming now, or is already here, I guess. I think we're already in World War III, but we haven't been officially notified of such, but I believe we are. But anyway, something I remember saying back then, and of course people just didn't really think that's what it was, but it turns out something big has come, and now we are facing shortages, and we're not into rationing yet, but in a way we are into rationing, because if you can't get something, well, then it's really not a whole lot different than a rationing situation. Anyway, but I got to thinking, and when she mentioned about how that was in the early 50s when she was a little girl, and she remembers there being empty shelves and so on, and I had said, well, yes, but there was an obvious reason for that, and that being World War II. The world was still recovering from World War II. But laying here now, it got me thinking there are parallels. Really, I know in my life there are, and there probably are in most people's lives, I would think. Maybe in my life it's more dramatic because I've had a lot of strange things happen to me that most people can't relate to. The weird stuff that's happened to me, or the tragedies that have happened to me, have been weird, I guess is the way to put it. I'm a nonconformist in every respect, I guess. But the thing is, I think most people can draw parallels between what's happened to the world over the course of the 20th century and what's happening now, even, most people can draw parallels to their own lives and how our lives kind of go through ups and downs and ebbs and flows, and how our lives evolve in different ways, we could say. I'm not an evolutionist, I'm a creationist, but when I say evolve, I mean in our own personal lives, how things move along and develop and so on is what I mean when I say evolve. Anyway, I got to thinking about it, and yeah, I mean, look, the world in the earlier part of the 20th century, in the late first part of it, went through 10 years of depression, followed by 6 years of World War. Okay, well, when I was 8 years old, I was used as a guinea pig for medical experiments, and then that cost me my health. Which, when you're young and you lose your health, you lose a lot. So basically, I had the remainder of my childhood and my teenage years taken away from me. And then, of course, in my 20s, I was still physically ill from what was done to me. And when I was 21, I had the pneumonia, which the doctor refused to treat, and that permanently damaged my lungs. It nearly killed me. And by the time I found a doctor who would treat it, I was in a really bad way. I did nearly die. And so I did get treated though. But then after that, I was in a really weakened state for the rest of my 20s. And so I lost my 20s, basically. So from the age of 8 to 29, those could be considered like with the Earth, 1929 to 1945. A depression and a war, basically. And the devastation, well, actually, a depression and a war. And actually, we could take, well, basically, we could say then the depression and the war for me, I guess, would be the the equivalent of the age of 8 to about 22. And then from 22 to 30 could be considered the time on the earth of 45 to 55, 1945 to 1955, when the earth was recovering from the war. Now, for me, the ages from 30 through to about 50 were a golden age. Because when I was 30, I actually had gained back a lot of my strength. I spent my 20s rebelling against the medical profession. I stopped doing what they were telling me to do. I started using my own judgment on things and not just going along to get along with these people. And I was permanently damaged, yes, but I got back a lot of my health. And in my 30s, I was actually stronger and I felt better than I had in decades. I still wasn't 100%, but I was a lot better than I was. And anyway, so in my 30s, I had what I would call a golden age. In my 30s and even into my 40s, up to I was about 50, I had a golden age, you know. And I was actually stronger than I had ever been, and I felt better than I ever had. I wasn't as good as most people in their 30s. I wasn't as strong as most men in their 30s, or as energetic as most men in their 30s. But I was a lot stronger and more energetic than I had ever been since I was a little kid, you know. And so, anyway, that would be my golden age. Well, if you look at it, the Earth went through a golden age from 1955 to 1995. The Earth had recovered from the war enough by 55, and the economy was picking up, and there were jobs, and there was stuff available in the stores, and there was money to buy the stuff in the stores. And, there was also a technological boom. There was a technological advancement that started then. And there were advances in medicine, there were advances in electronics and all sorts of things. And so life progressively got better. Um, Rationing had stopped. There was food in the grocery stores, and people had money to buy it. And you could buy as much as you wanted to. You didn't have to have a ration ticket to buy an apple or whatever. You didn't have to have that. You could just buy it. If it was there, you could buy as much of it as you had money to pay to buy it. So if you had a hunger for something, you could go to the store and get it. The money in your pocket from your job you were working. And life was pretty good. And that went on until about 1995, and then we started into a slow decline, you know. And that's kind of where I'm at now. When I hit my 50s, I started into a slow decline, and a lot of the problems that I had when I was young started to come back on me. And again, this happens as you get older. Old injuries and old things that were happened to you, they come back on you in various ways. And the older people listening will know what I mean when I say that. It's like oftentimes we get a reprieve from it for a little while, but then it does come back to us. As we age, we get that all that old stuff comes back to us. Anyway, there's Rocky photobombing my video. It's alright, he looks better than I do anyway, so. He only beautifies the thing is all he does. He's really purring. Hey, Rocky. Anyway, it's just a parallel that I was thinking of anyway, and I'm sure in your own lives, maybe not as dramatic as me, maybe even more dramatic for some of you, but for a lot of you, probably not as dramatic. But still, you can look at it and you can see how, with the ups and downs, how it parallels a lot what's happened on the earth and in society and with the economy and everything else. And how we have our depression and war times, and our recovery times, and we have our golden age, and we have our time of decline. And anyway, like I say, now it's my belief we're in a time of decline. But we were in a golden age for a while there anyway. We didn't know how good we had it, but and I look back too when I was in my 30s, especially, I was angry because I had a lot really stolen from me. I had been robbed in many ways, and I was angry about that, and so I wasted a lot of my energy just on being angry. I did. I wasted a lot of my energy on being angry when I was in my 30s. And that's kind of too bad. I regret doing that now. And, of course, it's like a lot of things. We don't appreciate a thing when we have it. I had that golden age where I could have really done a lot more than I did. But I'd spend a lot of my energy on anger. That's what it was, anyway. And so that's my fault that I did that anyway. I was stupid. I should have used the energy I had for a better purpose than just to be angry. And that's not to say I wasn't somewhat productive in those years, but I wasn't as productive as I could have been. So, and that's because I wasted my golden age on being angry, on being resentful. And of course, it didn't help that a lot of people were angry with me because I wasn't doing the things that they thought I should be doing. And I ended up at war with authority figures, and I ended up at war with a lot of people in society because I wasn't doing, because it was still in those days it was expected that you would defer to authority. And in my case, deference to authority was death, really. If I deferred to authority, I wouldn't last very long because authority was not, it just didn't work out very good for me. That's all. authority. Authority seemed to have it in for me. So I had to go to war with authority, but that also put me at odds with society. You know, 'cause like I say, it